Hi there and welcome to Advanced MP3 Players. Today I'm going to talk to you about the Samsung YP-P2, or the P2 as we'll refer to it from here on in. The player it probably competes with directly in the market arguably is the iPod Touch. So it makes sense in this review to compare the players directly. First off, you can see Samsung have got the minimalist look of this player just right. The player resembles a black slab when the music's off. Switch it on though and the first thing that's going to strike you is the bright and crisp screen and the great user interface that Samsung have gone with. Technically speaking, the player is available in 2, 4, 8 and 16 gig memory sizes, all of which have a pretty handy list of features including video playback, FM radio and Bluetooth. Now obviously this is primarily an audio player that benefits from the use of DNSE 2.0 Samsung's technology, and it's being used in their current range of players. Even with no options on, the sound produced is very crisp and very clear, and in my mind it's a lot better than the iPod Touch, which itself, has to be said, is probably one of the better sounding iPods. Now moving on to video, Samsung have been really clever with their choice of size for the player. Yep, it's small in width than the Touch, which does mean the screen is slightly smaller, but they've used a widescreen display. Now what this means is when you're watching a widescreen movie, the actual image is almost as big on the Samsung as it is on the Touch, but of course the player is far more pocketable. It's such a bright and crisp screen too, certainly one of the best on the market. Now of course one option that no iPod has is an FM radio. The P2 has this. Now that's not a great deal of use of, it's rubbish, but the one on the P2 is actually very good. It has great reception, great clarity, and in addition to that you can set presets. It's a top feature for the real world. Again, concentrating on the real world usage of the player, the P2 uses Bluetooth as opposed to the iPod Touch's Wi-Fi. Now what does this mean? Well, the idea of the Touch is that you can surf the internet and download music anywhere. But in reality that causes a lot of problems trying to get online with different hotspots. Whether it's used, I'm not entirely sure, but it makes much more sense to have that functionality on the iPhone, which of course itself can connect to the internet. Now the P2 uses Bluetooth to let you wirelessly transfer music from your PC or from a friend's mobile phone, but also lets you use the wireless headphones. In fact, you can connect 2 sets of Bluetooth headphones to the player, making it easy to share your music or movies. Now all of this and the P2 is still not done. The P2 features Datacasts. This is a unique feature to the P2, letting you sync data from RSS feeds, which is basically information from your favourite news websites or forums, every time you sync the player with your PC. It gives you another thing to read in the train or something else to keep you occupied while you're listening to your music. Finally, the Prime Pack features little gadgets that you'll find handy to carry around, like a calendar, world clock, alarm and text viewer. It's likely Samsung will add to these as well with future firmware updates. So in conclusion, the P2 does the real world stuff, as good as, or in many cases better than the iPod Touch. It's easier to carry about and it's a lot cheaper. For those reasons I really recommend you have a look at the P2. To the scores. Well, value, I think as we've already touched upon, is way better than the iPod Touch. If you're comparing it directly at that, or even most of our competitors, you'd have to score the Samsung 10 out of 10. Features, well literally the player's missing nothing you'd want. It's easy to use, everything works and it's well designed. Okay, there's no internet, but that really is the only thing it's missing here. 9 out of 10. Design, love it or love its looks. I haven't really met anyone that disliked the design of this player. It's beautifully minimalist. 10 out of 10. Audio, again another 10 out of 10. It's right up there with the industry's best. Buy this player, sound quality will not disappoint you. Video, it's got a great screen, it's crisp, it's clear. The only downside is it's slightly small on its rival, and for that we'll knock it down to 9. So totting up, that gives the P2 a fantastic 9.5 out of 10. It gets an AMP3 recommended review as well. It's a great player from Samsung and arguably the most complete, well-rounded MP3 player to date. If you buy the product, you won't be disappointed.